Well, welcome to CBS News Mornings. I'm Anne-Marie Green, and we begin this morning with Israel on the verge of a massive ground invasion in Gaza. Here's a live look at the border where thousands of Palestinian civilians remain effectively trapped in the crosshairs. Well, CBS News now confirms that the Biden administration is asking Israel to delay that ground offensive, at least for now. Israeli Defense Forces say more than 320 targets were struck in Gaza, including tunnels used by Hamas. Israel's military says its forces conducted limited raids into Gaza overnight, and at least 70 people were killed in strikes. That's according to Hamas officials. A third aid convoy is reported to have entered Gaza this morning. 14 trucks arrived yesterday, and 20 trucks were allowed to cross Saturday. The aid includes water, food, and medical supplies, but Israel has not allowed any fuel to enter Gaza. President Biden and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu agreed to continue the flow of aid into Gaza during a phone call yesterday. And according to the White House, the president thanked Israel for its role in helping secure the release of an American hostage and her daughter on Friday. This morning, an Israeli military spokesperson revised the number of people believed to be held hostage in Gaza to 222. So joining me now live from Israel is CBS News foreign correspondent Ian Lee. Ian, thanks for joining us again this morning. So as you heard, CBS News has confirmed this morning that the Biden administration may have advised Israel to delay that ground invasion into Gaza in order to buy a little more time for hostage negotiations and allow aid to get into Gaza. Secretary of State Antony Blinken was asked about this specifically on CBS's Face the Nation yesterday. I'm going to play a little sound.
But in terms of what we're talking to Israel about with regard to their military operations, it really is focused on both how they do it and how best to achieve the results that they seek.
So I don't think Israel would have called up, 300,000 reservists if they hadn't initially sort of intended to have a massive ground invasion. So what do we know about where things stand now in terms of that?
Good morning, Anne-Marie. The one thing we've been waiting for is that ground invasion. We were expecting it possibly over the weekend. It didn't happen. This explanation from those two sources that the U.S. is asking Israel to hold off could probably explain why we haven't seen it. It probably is because they are making progress, headway in the release of those hostages. Now, as you pointed out, Israel says 222 are now believed to be held hostage. We've seen that number tick up slowly. An aid group I spoke with believes it could be more than that. So there is this fear that if that ground invasion begins, then all talks are off. There's no negotiations for their release. But this does come as the U.S. also wants to get more humanitarian aid into Gaza over the weekend. There's a couple of dozen trucks that were able to make it across the border. But the UN believes up to 100 a day are needed to maintain life in Gaza with food, water, medical supplies. The one thing that wasn't included in that shipment was fuel, and that's also desperately needed, not only to move the supplies around Gaza, but also to fuel generators at hospitals. If those generators go out, people die. Anne-Marie?
So let's talk a little bit about that, though. Why is Israel resistant to allowing fuel to go in?
The one thing, Anne-Marie, that they say that they want to prevent is any of these supplies getting to Hamas. They even said they would strike supplies that are going to Hamas. Fuel is going to be used for them to get around the Strip and other sorts of military means. So that is something that they do want to prevent. Now, in the past, in 2014, I can tell you, Israel allowed aid to move through its territory into Gaza. This time, they say, unless those hostages are returned, they're not going to allow any aid in through their territory. So really, Egypt and that Rafah border is the lifeline for the Palestinian people stuck in Gaza.
Really quickly, Ian, I want to ask you about sort of the other side, right? You recently traveled to Israel's border, northern border, rather, near Lebanon. What is the situation like there?
It is tense, Anne-Marie. We did hear artillery when we were up there, as well as drones. We saw jets in the air. We've seen Israeli airstrikes in the region. Hezbollah has returned fire with anti-tank missiles. There's been skirmishes. People have died on both sides. Right now, it's a low-level conflict. You can almost say it's a bit of a dance. Both sides doing the moves that they normally do. Neither want to step out of line and have this escalate to a full-scale war, at least not yet. But just to kind of give you you an idea that if that were to become a new front in this war, it would make Gaza look like a sideshow. Hezbollah has more missiles. They're more sophisticated than the ones Hamas has. The militant group also has tens of thousands of fighters that have been battle-hardened from more than a decade of fighting in the Syrian civil war. Anne-Marie?
It's all concerning. Ian, thank you very much. Well, meanwhile, there are growing fears that the conflict between Israel and Hamas, as you just heard, could spread throughout the region. Palestinian health officials said today 2 people were killed in an Israeli raid on a refugee camp near Ramallah. And this comes after an Israeli airstrike on the West Bank killed 2 yesterday. According to Israel, Hamas militants were using a mosque as a, quote, terrorist compound. In the north, Israel says that its aircraft struck 2 Hezbollah cells in Lebanon, which it claims were planning to launch anti-tank missiles and rockets towards Israel. Syrian state media reported that Israeli strikes targeted airports in Damascus and Aleppo yesterday, killing at least 2 people. Heightened tensions in the region prompted the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad to order the departure of non-essential American employees and family members. Secretary of State Antony Blinken spoke about the safety of U.S. personnel in the region.
Margaret, we are concerned at the possibility of Iranian proxies escalating their attacks against our own personnel, our own people. We're taking every measure to make sure that we can defend them and, if necessary, respond decisively.
Family members of hostages currently held by Hamas met with Israel's president yesterday, and they called for the safe return of their loved ones. Among them were the parents of a 23-year-old Israeli-American hostage, who were told by witnesses that one of their son's limbs was hit by an exploding grenade.
We're asking for everybody around the world, Sarei Chutz, foreign ministers from the 30 countries where there are hostages, to scream, let in the medical care. We've talked to doctors. The doctors have said, if he gets the treatment that he needs, he has a decent chance. If he still hasn't gotten it, it's a dire situation. He needs surgery. He needs intensive antibiotics, and we're screaming to anybody who will listen, let in the medical care and bring all 200 of these people home to their families.
Well, Israeli officials claim more than 222 people are still being held captive in Gaza. And this comes as U.S. officials confirmed the release of 2 American hostages Friday. Judith and Natalie Renan, a mother and daughter from suburban Chicago, are dual Israeli-U.S. citizens. They were visiting family near the Gaza border when Hamas attacked southern Israel nearly 2 weeks ago.